Fred Richani of TSC. We are here at the NFL Scouting Combine. I'm here with Mark Lane. He is a journalist for Texans Wire of USA Today. Also covers the Dallas Cowboys for WFAA. And hey, we picked a good time to chat with you, man. There's a lot of chatter about Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, you name it. What is going on with the Dallas Cowboys in 2020?
The same thing that goes on with them every season, and that's just they're constantly in the headlines. But I think the complication of not getting an extension wrapped up with Dak Prescott has really, complicated their offseason plans, because now, even though you do have the luxury of the franchise tag and the transition tag that they can use on Amari Cooper and cornerback Byron Jones, still you'd rather not have to use any of those. You'd have rather locked up Prescott. Instead, the way it's going, they may have to tag Dak. Not necessarily that they would need that he's going to play under the tag, but they'd have to use it to protect him. And then you can't use that to protect Byron Jones. Here's where it gets complicating, though, Fred, is if they get the news, they're only able to use it because they're in the final year of the current 2011 collective bargaining agreement. When they re-up the new one, then they'll take away one of those tags. So if they tag Dak and Amari, they sign it, they're going to have to leave and just tag Dak. And then you expose Cooper and Jones to the open market. So it really happened because they weren't able to get anything done with Prescott, but I don't think it's the Cowboys' fault necessarily in terms of they were trying to be cheap with him. I think Dak realizes what a generational contract this is in terms of his family, and he wants to get the most that he can. You also have a little ambiguity because it is the last year of the CBA. What's the new one going to look like? Are they going to get more money? And that's really how we've got to this point. He's going to be a Dallas Cowboy, though. He's going to take snaps for him week one against the New York Giants in the late afternoon game at AT&T Stadium. A tradition like none other now.
So you're saying there's no chance, zero chance, that you think Dak Prescott is not a Dallas Cowboy or sitting out any regular season games?
No.
Wow.
I think he would sit out off-season workouts if he gets franchise tagged, because that is the nature of what happens with players when they get tagged or they have contract disputes with the team. But I don't think he misses any training camp time or any games.
Now, we covered the Mike McCarthy press conference earlier this week, said all the right things. He definitely seems fired up and re-energized from Green Bay. What do you think Mike McCarthy can bring to the table?
First of all, I started covering the Cowboys in 2013, so just in the middle of the Jason Garrett era, and people would say stuff like, oh my gosh, he's so robotic in his press conferences. It's like, oh, what do they know? Then McCarthy gets up there, and I realized, oh my gosh, Jason Garrett was robotic. He really did. He brought a lot of, I think for the fans, McCarthy brings a lot of energy and a lot of zest, and they're feeding off of that. And just based on how many Photoshop pictures there are of him, you think he'd have coached in Dallas for 3 years by now. I think what the Cowboys have done is a decision that Jerry Jones wishes he would have made back in 1998 when they hired Chan Gailey to replace Barry Switzer. Now, in 98, they had Todd Sherman, the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, as a candidate. They had George Seifert of the San Francisco 49ers fame as a candidate, and they decided to go with Chan Gailey, offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who really was instrumental in getting Cordell Stewart from the slash role to a quarterback, to being, more of a quarterback. And they went with that decision, and you see what happened. Now, when you have a team in its prime, kind of like how the Cowboys were in 97, 98, with a team in its prime, still has one in it, I think he's going the Seifert route, Jerry Jones, in getting Mike McCarthy. We'll see if it manifests. McCarthy has a lot he wants to prove, because he he was fired in the middle of the season. He was a Super Bowl winning coach.
I thought that was so disrespectful. I mean, I get that there was tension with him and Aaron Rodgers, but the guy was there for well over a decade, got them to multiple NFC title games, and won a Super Bowl for them. I mean, that's crazy. Have you seen anything like that with a coach that should have that much respect with the team?
Yeah, exactly. And he still feels like he has something to prove. He used the time off to study other NFL offenses and to see what he could use when he goes to the next stop. He really liked the situation in Dallas. The concern that I have is that in the Super Bowl era, there have been 11 head coaches that have spent time at their first stop for 10-plus years, like McCarthy has. There have been 11 of them, and only 2 of them have won playoff games. Only 2 of them. Dan Reeves with the New York Giants and then the Atlanta Falcons, and then Andy Reid with the Chiefs. So the odds are against McCarthy. We'll see if he still has the same zest and something to give to the game like Reeves and Reid did. And I was critical at first, but I'm starting to come around. I think that he can. I don't know about a Super Bowl, but, because no coach has ever won a Super Bowl and then won another one with another team. But I think that he can take them to the next level.